welcome back. We are recording episode 3 of season 3 of Toucan Talks. And today, Joshua and I are going to jump into some video trends that we're seeing this year and some ways that you guys as business owners or marketing folks can tap into those trends. Last episode, we talked a little bit about just marketing trends in general for the year. But I think video over the past few years and is going to forever continue.
Yeah.
It's not, I guess, maybe not even a trend. Video's not a trend. Video's here to stay. But here are some trends within that realm that you guys can tap into.
Yes.
So you're our videographer, so I'm going to let you take the lead on this conversation, and I'll jump in as needed.
Absolutely. So I've kind of found 4 to 5, video trends that seem to have been a thing in 2024, and then I think just going to continue in 2025. Not anything necessarily that's like hitting the scene in, February of 2025 necessarily, but it's going to continue to build. First one, obviously, how can you can't avoid it. Short form content.
Yeah. Yep. So you're going to find this on your Instagram, your face, on the Facebook, on the
Facebook. I don't know how to avoid it now. I'm surprised it's not in if I go to the Harris Teeter app, or Costco, like food app, and I'm like, oh, there's short form videos there. It's everywhere.
I bet. We'll get down to trend number 5, but maybe it will be.
Maybe
soon.
it will be. That'd be kind of cool, actually.
But yeah, I think exactly. Yeah. Short form content is what our poor little brains have the attention span for.
So true.
But within that, there's a lot of ways you can pack value and make it effective as a business. So I'll let you.
Absolutely. Yeah. Some things that I've noticed with short form lately that I think will continue to build this upcoming year. Typically, you really want to catch the viewer's attention within the first 3 to 5 seconds. Yeah. If you're not doing that, a lot of people, their retention will fall off very quickly. Yes.
Just want to swipe.
Right. And it's so easy to swipe now with everything, all the UI built in, and so easy to do. So true. It's really important to catch people's attention. And there's some ways to do that is using hooks. And you've probably seen some trendy kind of creators make come here and they kind of bring the phone close, story time or get ready with me, use those more fashion forward things. Those are trendy at times, but the hooks work.
Yeah.
The hooks might not last months or quarters or years at a time, but when they're hitting. And if you can kind of flow with that, I think there's a good chance you can get a lot of viewers and retention as well.
Yeah, for sure. No, that is a good point, because I feel like there are definitely weeks or whatever. It's a very specific hook or line of copy is everybody's doing it and then it switches. But so yes, exactly. So sometimes those things can be trends. Using the hooks in ads themselves is.
And I feel like clever ways to use that too. Yeah. I love when influencers, creators, whatever you want to call them, or even brands hop onto it in a creative way, where it's not like they're just pandering toward the trend, but more so where they're actually kind of giving to or helping with the trend, kind of bringing it up to a creative standard. Yeah. I think that really hits really well, and it can work in, quarter one, that might work really well in a brand, like a marketing campaign or something like that. And it can be used as long as it's not meant to be a part of your main brand for years to come. Yeah. that wouldn't be any good. But if it's for shorter marketing campaigns, it can be pretty useful.
Yeah. Cool.
And also just part of that, you really want to catch the person's attention, and the topic you are speaking on or showing off should be doing the talking for you. The people that are having those long intros, we're leaving them in 2024. You really want to get to your topic or what you're showing off, what you're selling quickly, so that again, people don't swipe away.
Yeah, and I think we'll get to this too. But I think to that point, especially with the podcast studio, a lot of people that we're working with are filming long form content. And then again, we'll dive into this, but getting those smaller videos from the episode to use on social. But with those short clips, you have to find the things that are going to capture people's attention right away. That will then drive them to the longer piece of content. But if that short clip is a long intro,
gosh,
people are probably not going to be like, oh yeah,
Like,
I'm intrigued.
Yeah, right. Why would they want to go to the long form video if the short form video doesn't even keep their attention?
Exactly.
You know what I mean?
So
Absolutely.
we can dive into that, but just as an example for that.
Yes.
That piece.
And last part on this kind of first like short form part is just people are kind of using like a 3-headed animal with this. How do you say that? 3-headed monster? There's 3 points to what makes this vision.
I trust you.
What makes something interesting. And those points are the visuals, typically trendy music or something catchy that kind of catches people's attention, and text on the screen. So those 3 things combined make beautiful content that likely will capture the person's attention. And like I said, like Laura was saying too, bring them to your long form content or to your webpage or help convert for sales and stuff like that. So those 3 together really work.
Nice.
So anyways, moving on to number 2. This one's something I've just kind of really noticed in the YouTube scene and also Facebook as well. A lot of people are looking for authentic and sometimes might be called slow-paced content. Okay. Not that that's something that everyone is looking for, but it's like a sector of the market that people are. That is useful for people that are, I don't know, if you've been on social media for like 30 minutes, whatever, and you're just kind of like getting a little worn down, just seeing like people yelling in your face and like, buy this. And then you just come across the video that's just slow paced, kind of chill music, anything like that can really keep people watching. And it also gives people a break. It helps give the viewer time to unwind. It's usually not super edited, but it still is intentional with the messaging and with what they're trying to show you. That could still be an ad, but typically, you know, I see that a lot, like I said, in the YouTube scene, and where people are just like, you know what, editing's cool, and don't get me wrong, I love editing, but just having something simple, cut, and that people can just view and unwind, I've noticed a trend with that lately. It's
almost like breaking through the noise, but in the opposite direction.
Exactly. Yes. It's a bit counterculture to the short form, everything like 3 seconds, everything's coming at you fast. It's kind of like, I get to watch this, I don't know, person talk about this, and it's just like more calm, you know?
Yeah. So. I think kind of tying back into what we talked about last time with like the authentic and human connection, mixing some of that in, and having, again, an overall marketing strategy of how are we going to work short form content into some of these longer form pieces and making it cohesive. I think we'll tie it all together with whatever said business objective is.
Absolutely. And the content that you're putting out really needs to fit what you're trying to do. Yeah. And like your brand and like what you're trying to show people. So if what you're trying to show people is not slow paced, then you don't need to fit it into that. Yeah. You don't need to fit the triangle piece into the circular hole. I think I did that right. Right.
I think it's a square peg.
I'm not good at analogies. I try, but
you might be sleep deprived.
That's true. Yes, that's true. But anyways, I think make sure that if the content fits what you're actually trying to show off, and like again, like if you have something that's a little more faster paced, that's totally fine, and that fits the trend these days. But the slow paced stuff can just be a nice counterculture trend that people might find and really like for your stuff.
I was glancing at your note where it said counterculture, just the very fast pace, and I was like thinking of the coffee, and I was like, maybe we're not seeing the same things.
Oh dang, yeah, for sure. Now again, that could also be sleep deprivation.
No, what you said made it. I was just thinking like the coffee
brands and I see.
What their content is, and I was like, I guess maybe there's this fast pace, but it is coffee.
Right.
Not the same thing.
Good coffee.
Yeah, it is. I'm drinking it right now.
Right. Point 3, kind of going into that, a little bit of a segue, long form content. That is here to stay. It's been here to stay, and I don't think it'll ever leave, to be honest.
Yeah. It's the new blogging, I feel like.
Ooh, good point.
Maybe in terms of like podcasts and like getting content out there.
Yeah.
Even though I think blogging still has a lot of value. Especially for like SEO and different things like that. But
that's a good point. I didn't think of it like that.
It's like a new way of people are consuming that longer content.
Absolutely. But it's here to stay. It's going to continue to rise in popularity. I don't think it'll really ever, maybe at some point it'll die down, but I don't see how it would, to be honest. I think ways you'll see it trending this year, I think you'll continue to see a lot of niches pop up. Okay. Cool. We've already seen that in some ways with and YouTube's actually kind of blessing this right now. I watch a lot of YouTube, and I have a lot of YouTube music on in the background, and I usually it'll show like the popular with 1 million hits or whatever.
Yeah.
But I've been getting content lately that shows like 150 views and stuff like that, and it's just like finding its way into my feed.
Nice.
And I think that's a really cool thing that they're doing. I hope it sticks because it could help small creators find some traction.
Yeah, that would be cool.
But anyways, I think niche podcasts and longer form video will continue to rise. Let's see here. Longer short form videos on YouTube, IG, and TikTok. Now, I don't have TikTok, but I don't even have Instagram right now, but I have YouTube. And I've noticed and I've heard recently that they've extended the threshold for what it takes for short-term or long-term content, like long form.
Yeah.
I know YouTube is like 60 seconds.
60 seconds for YouTube. I do know that one.
Yes, and I think TikTok, it's become, I think some creators have access to like posting 15, 20, 30-minute videos on TikTok and stuff like that.
Giving us the nod. She's our TikTok resident expert over there.
I want to make sure I'm not just talking mess here. I think that's what I've heard. And so that could be a cool way to kind of put your long form content that you would normally just rest on YouTube into other avenues like TikTok or other avenues that I assume will continue to follow that trend.
Yeah.
And then anyways, with that, with those longer short form videos and stuff like that, Facebook and X have had video tabs that are pushing users to more consistent ways to view video and longer term video too, which is kind of cool. Everybody seems to be going in that trend.
Yeah.
And then kind of flowing into that, the long form content allows for smaller videos and clips to easily be pulled from. Yeah. And you mentioned that earlier in the previous episode and just in general. We do that a lot. With podcast guests and studio guests, we typically will have their episode filmed, and then we'll pull clips from that that they can use for quick social media clips or ways to market their company or brand or whatever. And that's it's almost like it's like you're getting double value
for sure
out of your video.
Yeah. I mean, especially if you're interested in podcasting or doing podcasts and you can make it a video podcast versus just audio, then you have all the videos and reels you need to promote that episode
right there,
filmed all at one time.
Yeah.
Which is awesome. And I think another place where we've kind of helped people do this is when we've done like longer brand videos for a client, and then can pull, because in that you might have a customer testimonial. You're definitely hitting your brand like value prop points. So you can pull shorter little edits from that longer video too.
Yes.
So we were laughing about efficiency being the name of the game this year, but it really is. It's going to save you time and money, and the visual is consistent. So you're building consistency on whatever your platform is that you're using. So I think there's a lot of runway there. That's efficient and effective.
Yes.
And what else do you want?
Right. What more do you need?
What more? Effective, efficient content.
Right. And just more points, kind of already hit on it, but it's a great way to kind of extend the shelf life of your content.
True.
So it like I said, we already talked about it. You can pull clips from the longer form content, and then you can use that short form content to drive traffic to the long form. Yep. And it's just a great kind of like complete cycle where it just kind of keeps content there in people's minds and fresh, and draws traffic to your whatever you're trying to promote.
And I mean, you might have people that don't want to listen to your long form content.
True.
I don't know why. That's on them. But if you have those key points that you're pulling out in those clips, they're going to get that content in those shorter form, digestible, quick ways. So you can get your main points across, even if they're not going to consume that long form content. Right. Which we want them to, but everyone, consumes content differently. So you got a little bit of everything for everybody.
Right. And you can kind of hit that slow paced thing that people are looking for sometimes, and then at the same time literally get fast paced content from the same thing, which is kind of cool. So
everyone should create long form content.
That's right. I think that's
I think that's where we got to.
That's the message we're trying to promote here.
That's funny. Okay. Well, what's up next?
Yeah. So point 4 is just creators making series out of their content. And this is, I've seen it more. This is more of a short form, but I've seen some on YouTube as well, even.
Yeah.
And this is really just kind of setting the viewer up for what to expect
Cool.
from the creator.
Yeah.
This is literally just, it could be, Alyssa was saying earlier, this could be an easy trend. It's just like a food based like channel or content, and just building consistent content out of that. And I've seen it with little things like people going to like a Target and dancing for customers. And like, it's just like a consistent trend. And those things.
And if you want to do that, Joshua can't wait to meet you there to help you film that.
Yeah, I might back out of there. I don't know if I want to meet you at the Target to help you film, but if you, I mean, I guess, you know what? Yeah, let's do it.
Yeah, it'll be fun.
Let's
It'll be
do
great.
it.
Mix it up. No, but I get what you're saying. Like you're building on.
Yes.
You're getting people like queued up to like, oh, I want to see the next one. So you're building some loyalty, some following there.
Right. It's kind of like setting the standard. It's like when people see this first one, they're like, oh, I love that. I don't know. Have you ever seen like a video that you loved or like a piece of content that you loved, and you go to the page and it's just completely different, or like a different messaging or different voice of what you've seen before?
Yeah.
You know
Or
what I mean?
like these home, I say like everyone's getting home renovation content on their feeds, but it's like they'll do the tear down, and then it's like, which I know that's a long process and maybe they'll get there, but it's like, click to see the finished or like the reveal. Like, where's the reveal?
Just leave you hanging.
I know. I'm like, tell me the reveal's coming soon. Like,
yeah.
Set my expectations. Yes, the series is great. I know you can't tear your house down to the studs and the next day give me a finished video.
Right.
But just tell me to follow along for the process.
Yeah.
Don't tell me to come see the reveal.
That's right. Set people up for what to actually expect. That's a great point, Laura. Set
Thanks.
people
I know
up.
that wasn't on our.
No, I know. Seriously, that's
a personal rant.
I have that rant too sometimes, because I'll go to the page and there's just nothing like what they had in the video that I actually liked. I was like, oh, bummer. I was gonna follow them, but.
I mean, if I really like it, I will follow them because I want to know. But if it just annoyed me, then I'm like, see ya.
True.
Bye. I think with the series thing too, depending on the business, there's been times where we've done like webinar series. So it might start with something that's a little bit more broad or an introduction, and then the second webinar is a deep dive into a separate piece of content or a separate topic.
Yes.
But they're all kind of building and related to each other. So there's a bunch of different ways you can do that if you're not just trying to live on social or have your content live on social. Absolutely.
And I think too, that can be a great way to potentially convert viewers to customers too. Because if they started along the process of like, oh, I'm just going to kind of watch the series, but if there is like something you're trying to promote or something that you naturally just sell like as a service, that's part of the thing that you're making the series out of. It could be a great way for customers to see that your work is good or what you're putting out is fun to watch, and it may convert into a follow or a sale or whatever else.
Yeah.
So
cool. Set those expectations, and then keep them coming back for more.
That's right. Retention. And then, so the last one here, this one, I don't know. I'm not like in this space, but I've heard the rumbles that it's kind of coming around. We have an inside source, a friend who knows a lot about this, but live shopping will continue to rise in social platforms. And, we're seeing that with Amazon, Whatnot, and also TikTok, apparently TikTok like live and stuff like that. And that's literally, if people that don't know, it's just kind of, I don't know if anyone knows like the QVC channel back on like cable and stuff, where people would just like basically be selling you things while someone is, makeup and people are putting the makeup on the person and selling it live. Same situation. It's kind of like that, but more homey and like maybe just one person selling a product or a series of products. And I think that will just continue to rise in the social marketing, social media scene. Yeah. So for sure. But yeah, that's really all I got for that one. Yeah. I mean, I think, in terms of a trend, yes, I think people kind of goes back to some of the other things. Like it is, if you're, and same with QVC, you're seeing the product being used live. Yes. So it is building some of that credibility and, trust there. You're almost getting, of course it's staged and planned, but sure, you're at least, it's not just like a product image or something like that. You're actually seeing it get used, and then, if it works and you like it, you can buy it right there. Instant gratification. And it's built into some of these social platforms. So it's just a great way for people to easily, convert a sale and it go literally super fast viewer to buyer, just like that. So yeah, if there's something you're interested in, there's if you have a product that you're looking to sell, consider one of those platforms. It could be useful for you. For sure.
Sweet.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. So yeah, short form content. It's going to continue to be a thing if you can,
Yes.
especially depending on your business, if you can get that long form content and then repurpose it down into little pieces, it'll just make your life easier. And then I think a lot of these things kind of sticking with authentic and being a real human.
Yeah. Yeah.
Video,
Gosh.
at the end of the day, that is the benefit of video is people are seeing
Yes.
your face, the people behind the brand. Obviously there's product videos that don't have that, which is great too. But I think for a lot of people that we work with, especially on the podcast side and brand video side, you're making that human connection. It's real people. Hopefully good quality. If we're doing it, it's excellent quality.
That's right.
But if you're doing it on your own, there's plenty of things.
Yeah.
Go watch some Amazon shopping videos. You can get some ring lights, some all sorts of things.
All kinds of things. Yeah.
But yeah, I don't know. Anything else on the video front for this year you're excited about?
Yeah, I just really excited to continue to see people put out authentic content.
Yeah.
And authentic is that buzzword that everyone's like, whoa, authentic. But
Yeah.
seriously, like real people putting out real content and just kind of showing the point of it, I think quickly will really be beneficial for people instead of rambling on and just taking their time with the intros and whatever else. So I think that's important.
Cool. Well, hopefully you found this episode from a super fun, engaging Instagram clip that we put out. But if not, that's okay too. So yeah, if you have any questions, interested in starting some long form content in the studio or brand videos, things like that, you can head to kickstartcollective.co or reach out to us on Instagram. We'd happy to chat with you. But other than that, we'll have new episodes coming out next month. So be sure to follow us on Instagram, subscribe on YouTube, Spotify, Apple Podcasts.
You don't want to miss it.
You don't. Wherever you listen or watch podcasts, I think we're there.
That's right.
We should be there.
We're there.
And then you can also join our email newsletter on our website, kickstartcollective.co, and we'll shoot you an email when the next episode drops. But thanks for tuning in, and we'll see you next time.
Bye.